Ladies and gentlemen, if we could have you seated, please. If you could do us a favor and hold on to the sanctity of this day, we'll do that in two ways. One is to turn off your cell phones. We'll just keep them off just for the next hour. Our theme here is cell phones off, masks are on. All right, everybody, if you please could, to help us with the codes, the protocols of the County of Los Angeles. Those of you who are watching by chance, right, the County of Los Angeles has fairly stringent protocols. Everybody's masked. Clergy, we're far enough away up here that we'll take off the masks when we're not we're speaking or singing, and otherwise we'll have the mask on as well. We're going to enjoy it together, and Chazan Mimi, you can help warm us up on this Shabbat?
I would love to. I want to invite everyone to sing early, sing often, and enjoy this beautiful day as we celebrate Noah becoming a bat mitzvah. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom. This is the afternoon, the Mincha service, which we have every Shabbat. Every day we actually have a Mincha service. And what allows us to have a bat mitzvah like Noah's this afternoon is that we take out the Torah on Saturday afternoon to read. Not only Shabbat morning, Saturday morning, do it in the afternoon, as well as, by the way, Monday and Thursday mornings. That's the Jewish tradition of when we read from the Torah. It allows us to be able to celebrate a bat mitzvah and to call her up to read from the Torah. The Mincha service, by the way, doesn't require wearing of a talit. Those who are involved in the service up here are going to be wearing one especially. And you're going to be able to follow along in the Siddur, the smaller of the two red books. So if you have around you, on page 214, because here's the first prayer that Noah is going to lead us in, a prayer called Ashrei. Noah, why don't you make your way over to your podium? And she's going to read in English, and we're going to respond on the alternate stanzas. And this psalm is part of a number of our daily services. And make sure that that microphone is right in front of you. Feel free anytime to move it in front of you, Noah, today. Okay? Here, go ahead. You start us off, and we'll respond.
Joyous are they who dwell in your house. They shall praise you forever.
Joyous the people who are so favored. Joyous the people whose God is Adonai.
I exalt you, my God, my sovereign. I praise your name always.
Every day I praise you, glorifying your name always.
Great is Adonai, greatly to be praised.
Continue, go ahead.
Though your greatness is unfathomable.
One generation praises your works to another, telling of your mighty deeds.
I would speak of your majestic glory and of your wondrous acts.
Generations speak of your awe-inspiring deeds. I too shall recount your greatness.
They recount your greatness and sing of your righteousness.
Adonai is merciful and compassionate, patient and abounding in love.
Adonai is good to all, and God's mercy embraces all of creation.
All of creation acknowledge you, and the faithful bless you.
They speak of the glory of your sovereignty and tell of your might.
Proclaiming to humanity your mighty deeds and the glory of your majestic sovereignty.
Your sovereignty is eternal. Your dominance endures in every generation.
Adonai supports all who falter and lifts up all who are bent down.
The eyes of all look hopefully to you, and you provide them with nourishment in its proper time.
Opening your hand, you satisfy with contentment all that lives.
Adonai is righteous in all that is done, faithful to all creation.
Adonai is near to all who call sincerely.
God fulfills the desire of those who are faithful, listening to their cries, rescuing them.
Adonai watches over all who love the Holy One, but will destroy all the wicked.
My mouth shall utter praise of Adonai. May all that is mortal praise God's name forever and ever.
Amen. You can come back and sit over here, Noah, with me. We continue the bottom of page 217.
Yitkada v'yitkada shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uv'yomechon Uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala bagala Uv'izman kariv v'meru Amen Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach Le'alam lamei hamaya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh V'yithadar v'yitaleh V'yithalal shemei dekudesha berichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran be'alma ve'imru Amen.
Page 218, you're going to find the Torah service. Olivia and Ari, you're going to help us by coming and opening up the ark for us. Come on up, please, and we are all going to rise together at this time as we take out the Torah.
Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov chastecha Aneni be'emet yishecha Vayehi binso ha'aron Vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai V'yafutzu oivecha V'yanusu misanecha mipanecha Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Udevar Adonai mi Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato. Gadlu Adonai iti uneromem hashemo yachdav Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho.
You may be seated. You're going to be able to put down the prayer books for just a little bit for during the Torah service, about the next half hour, and then we'll need those prayer books for the concluding prayers as well. But if you'd like to follow the Torah reading, you can take out the larger of the two red books, what's called the Chumash, or the Torah text. And Noah's going to be speaking later about dreams a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about dreams. Is that okay if I talk a little bit about dreams? Do you dream a lot, Noah, or no? You do. Lots of very creative, crazy dreams kind of thing? Sometimes. Like aren't dreams crazy? You ever wake up and go like, what the heck was that about? And sometimes you play Freud, you go like, uh-oh, what did that one mean? And other things you go like, other times you go, where did it come from? Like, I just haven't thought of that person. I never imagined. And aren't people just so vivid as well? Like somehow, like, you recognize it, but you don't. And dreams are crazy, and they always knew in the ancient world. By the way, as a reminder, if you can keep the phones away, it'd be greatly appreciated during the service. That this portion is about lots of dreams. Right? So Joseph has two dreams at the very beginning. Right? Joseph, remember, is more beloved apparently than all his other siblings. Remember how many of you years ago saw Joseph in his Technicolor dream coat? Right? That was, we know the story about him being the favorite. He has this wonderful coat of many colors, and he has this dream that the sheaves in the field of wheat are bowing down to his sheaf. And his brothers say, "Does that mean we're bowing down to you?" And then he has a dream about the stars in the heavens bowing down to him and the sun and the moon. He says, wait, we're all going to Mom and Dad? Everyone's going to bow down to you? Is that what you're telling us? And then he gets thrown in jail eventually, and then the baker, right, and the wine steward, they have their dreams, and he's the only one that can interpret them. Right? Pharaoh has dreams, and next portion, it's all about dreams. And the rabbis, how do we know what dreams mean? And it takes Joseph a long time to realize that the dreams have a special interpretation and that you have to channel God to understand what their meaning is about. Freud would say we have to channel the unconscious, right? The subconscious, to be able to understand what it's all about. And Joseph has to come to that understanding. And then in the end, by the way, in the very end of the story, the brothers are bowing down to him, but in the sense that he has saved them, not because of worship, but because ultimately he has turned that dream into something good to be able to serve family. And for us, always to be able to change our dreams into something which is good. I love these sections, and the psychoanalysts love these sections of the Torah as well, trying to interpret dreams. As we begin the Torah reading, Michael and Mindy and Noah, I'm going to call you all up as you're going to share and speak a little bit and then present our bat mitzvah with her talit. Come on, Noah. All right, Mindy, you ready? Yep. All right, yeah, bring that microphone close to you. Step right in there. And yes, there you go. Take one step towards your mom, Noah. Just one step towards your mom. There you go. Perfect. Right there.
Michael and I would like to thank our congregation and our rabbis, Hazan Mimi, and Noah's wonderful tutor, Andrea Sussman, as well, and all our family and friends for coming to share in our simcha today. And a special note of gratitude to those who traveled a far distance to be here. Noah. Lador Vador is what we printed on the invitation when you were first called to the Torah 13 years ago to receive your Hebrew name, Malka Davida. That name was given to you to honor the two Malkas in our lives, your great-grandma Molly and your grandma Vicky. And you know that Davida comes from my dad, your Papa Don. We know they are all so proud of you today. They would have loved spending time with the fun, witty, curious young woman you are becoming. Lador Vador, translated from Hebrew, means from generation to generation. So what does it mean to pass something down from generation to generation? When some people think of that concept, they think of something tangible, like a valuable heirloom you can touch or hold. But when your dad and I think of Lador Vador, we think of Jewish values and traditions, customs and memories, things that you can't necessarily hold in your hands, but you can hold deep in your heart. Things like kindness and inclusion, studying Torah, being charitable and helping those in need. Even Grandma Vicky's chocolate chip cake is Lador Vador. Feeling a connection to the customs and traditions that we learned from our parents, like you're doing here today. Hopefully you'll feel that pull, that gentle energy, or as my mom would say, a nudge from your ancestors to continue the traditions of passing these things on to your children when that day comes. Your path to get here was not as smooth as we wanted. We had to nudge you at times to log on to your tutoring sessions and to study your Hebrew. It was not easy on Zoom. But in time, as you got closer to this day, you found your own motivation to do your best and to nudge yourself to study even when you didn't feel like it. And you did it. You dug deep and decided that this tradition, this mitzvah of being called to the Torah, was something that you really wanted to do. Not for me or your dad or for anyone else, but for yourself. I think our proudest moment up until this moment of standing here with you now was when I gave you an out. I remember during a particularly tough moment I said something like, "You don't have to do it." I gave you an out because Dad and I didn't want this to feel forced. We wanted it to come from that place where you keep Lador Vador. We wanted it to come from your heart. And I was surprised and very happy that you didn't accept my get-out-of-jail-free card. Becoming a bat mitzvah was something you always wanted, and you held tight to that ambition. It's a great thing to set goals for yourself, to know that there's value in dropping the ball as long as you pick it up again and run with it. That is as true in life as it is on the softball field. We hope that you always find your way back to that inner drive and that you keep on surprising us. As you make your way through the world, know that it won't always be easy, but there can be beauty and satisfaction in the struggle. Because out of all the things that this day has taught you, it comes down to this. There are certain things that only you can do for yourself. You receive support and guidance from your family and your friends, your rabbis, your teacher and your tutor, but at the end of the day, it was you who did the work. Be proud of that. Be proud of yourself and all the things that you're accomplishing today. We hope that spirit will follow you from this day onward as you make your way into the world, not only as a bat mitzvah, but as an adult. People often think of parenthood as parenting babies and toddlers. It's bittersweet to watch your kids grow up. You and I both get a little annoyed when people stereotype the typical teenager, but Dad and I can see the magic in parenting your older self. We can talk politics and philosophy with you now. We can share an inside joke that only a couple years ago wouldn't have made sense. We have an earned sense of independence, and we've gained a beautiful history together. Today is just the beginning of many more accomplishments in your life that we are honored to be part of. I'll finish with one of my favorite quotes that simply says, "Follow your heart and run in that direction." Because if you can do that, you'll always find yourself on the right path.
All right, give your mom a hug. She deserves it. Go ahead. She made it through the whole thing. All right, and your dad's going to hand you the talit, and you're going to turn towards the congregation, your family and friends, and recite that blessing. Go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kadishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahita tef b'tzitzit.
Amen. We're going to call forward Michael and Mindy officially. You'll be able to find in that Chumash book, page 226, will actually be the beginning of the Torah reading. And we'll begin with the, go ahead, Chazan Mim, you're going to call them up officially.
ותגלה ותראה מלכותו עלינו בזמן קרוב ויחון פלטתנו ופליטת עמו בית ישראל לכן ולחסד ורחמים ורצון ונאמר אמן. הכל הבו גודל אלוהינו ותנו כבוד לתורה. יעמדו מרדכי בן רחמיאל ומלכה ומזליה בת דוד וחיה יהודית. Rishon, Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato, V'atem hadvikim Adonai Elohechem, Chaim kolchem hayom.
Baruch Adonai Amvarah. Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz Megarei Aviv be'eretz Canaan Ele Toledot Yaakov Yosef ben Shiva Esrei Shana Haya Ro'eh Ehav Batson Vehu Nar Et B'nei Ha Ve'et B'nei Zilpah Nashe Aviv Vayoveh Yosef et divertam ra'ah el avihem vayira'el ehav et Yosef mikol banav ki ben zekunim hu lo ve'asa lo ketonet pasim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayolam natah v'tohenu Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. I'm going to call grandparents Ron, Judy, and Fred. We're going to ask you to keep your masks on, please, as we call you up officially.
Ya'amdu Rachmiel ben Chaim ve'Esther, Yehudit Chaya bat Moshe v'Chaya Malka, Ufaivel ben Shmuel v'Brendel Sheni.
And this Aliyah will begin page 227, and beginning at verse 4. And Andrea, who is one of Noah's teachers, go ahead. You're going to go right up to the Torah, please, and you'll see the blessing up there.
Are we ready? Baruch Adonai Amvarah. Baruch Adonai Amvarah L'olam v'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nosan lanu Torah v'chayei olam nosen b'zchachenu. Baruch atah Adonai nosen ha'torah.
Vayir'u echav ki oto achav abichem mikol echav vayisneu oto velo yachalu dabaro l'shalom vayachalom Yosef halom vayaged le'echav vayosifu Otsino oto Vayomer Aleichem Shim'u na HaChalom hazeh Asher Chalamti V'hinei Anachnu Me'alumim Alumim V'toch HaSadeh V'hinei Kama alumati v'gam nitzava v'hinei tisupena alumotechem v'tishachavena la'alumati.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nasa lanu Torah emes v'chai olam nosein b'sachenu. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Asher koach to you all. And we're going to call in a moment just our bat mitzvah. You're going to be given, Olivia and Ari, you're going to hand out some candy to people. And at the end of this, underneath, I think right there underneath your dad. And you're going to throw it when at the end of the aliyah. We'll let you know when to do it. The symbolism that you're showering sweetness upon our bat mitzvah. Chazan Mimi, if you'll call forward a bat mitzvah.
I will. Habachura habat mitzvah tamod tamod Malka Davida bat Mordechai umazal Leah shlishi chizki
And before beginning with the blessing and the Torah reading, Noah's going to share with us some of her thoughts on the teaching and the Torah reading of today. Go ahead, Noah.
My parashah is the story of Joseph. In this story, Joseph starts having dreams about how he will soon rule over his brothers and father. When he tells his brothers about these dreams, they soon become jealous. They decide they must get rid of him, so they sell him as a slave. He is sent to work in Pharaoh's palace in Egypt. They soon discover that Adonai is watching over Joseph and protecting the house. When Joseph is in jail, he interprets the other prisoners' dreams, and the dreams come true. Soon Pharaoh has a dream. He hears about Joseph's interpreting and calls him. Joseph explains how the dream means that there will be a famine, and they prepare for a famine. And soon there is a famine, and everyone is prepared in Egypt. The Egyptians have lots of extra food, so people come from all over to receive food. Along with everyone, Joseph's brothers come along. At first, they don't recognize him, as it has been so long. But when they see who it is serving them food, they feel really bad. Joseph forgives them and hands them food. They tell their father and all come down to Egypt. The Pharaoh is grateful that Joseph predicted the famine and made him chief in charge behind himself. He also gives his family a house and land. This is how the Jews end up in Egypt. I can relate to Joseph and this story because I have sisters. My sisters and I can sometimes get jealous of each other, just like Joseph and his brothers. Me and my sisters fight like Joseph and his brothers, but we always get over it and forgive each other. I think it's cool that I can relate to the Torah and stories from long ago. For me, what it means to become a bat mitzvah is tradition. Many Jews start studying for a coming-of-age celebration when they turn 13. We start practicing Hebrew, learning stories and lessons, and relating them to how we are Jews. Everyone in the family has had one, and I'm excited that it's my turn. This day would not be possible without all the help I received from my parents, grandparents, sisters, aunt, Hazan Mimi, Andrea, Rabbi. Thank you, guys. Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Vayomru lo echav hamaloch timloch aleinu imashol timshol banu vayosifu od snow oto al halomotav ve'al devarav vayachalom od halom acher vayisaper oto le'ahav vayomer hine halamti halom od vehine hashemesh vehayareach ve'ahad asar kohavim mishahavim li vayisaper el aviv ve'el echav vayigarbo aviv ve'yomer lo ma hahalam hazeh asher halamta havo navo ani ve'imecha ve'achecha lehishtachavot leha artsa vayikanu bo aviv vayomer lo ma hachal shamar et hadavar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayeh olam nata betohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael, David melech Yisrael, chai v'kayam, David melech Yisrael, chai v'kayam. Siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yehelanu.
Just turn towards me, just right there, just in front of the mic. You feeling better?
Yeah.
A lot better?
Yeah.
No, as I've gotten to know you, I've learned that you're quite the perfectionist. Right? When you do something, you want to have it down exactly. And this bat mitzvah kind of pushed you a little bit, didn't it? Out of that comfort zone, maybe. But it was important enough to do that. Right? Being part of this tradition, connecting yourself to previous generations was so important to you that you took that leap a little bit. I want to tell you that it was wonderful watching you up here. Right? You're so nervous and yet so competent. You actually did much better than you thought you would, didn't you, in terms of being able to do it. But that comes, with a lot of hard work. And you always put hard work. I love how you look at everything. You analyze life. She just takes it all in. The way that you engage in the world, whether it's through sports, whether it is, you have a fish tank as well? Is that right? Yeah. And I always love the idea of fish tank because, you have to be observant. You have to be very kind. You have to take care of them, don't you? Do you do a good job taking care of them?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's the important messages. I've known your family a very long time. Your grandpa and I were, and in fact, I remember your grandma Vicky very well. And I think about her now, with us today. And I think your grandparents were at my bar mitzvah. I have a feeling that that's how far back our families go. And when your family showed up here and I got to meet your mom and reconnect with your dad, it was just such a wonderful feeling of continuity. We're proud of you, but more importantly, as you continue with the service as well, we all hope that you're proud of yourself. To feel the sense of connection and accomplishment that you deserve to have. Today has been a wonderful celebration so far, and we're going to continue with that. I'm going to share with you a blessing that's been given to the Jewish people, by the way, for about 3,000 years. That's a long time, isn't that?
Yeah.
That's older than your papa. I mean, this is a long, long time, right? 3,000 years. And it goes like this. Yevarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'sem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you, Noah Zipperstein. May you always confront life with that sense of conviction that you have, to tackle all the issues of life, to bring goodness to the world, and to help bring peace. And we all say, Amen. Don't go anywhere yet. Noah loves to have the service order. She wants to know exactly what we're doing and what order. But we're going to put away the Torah right now, and we're going to call forward Eva, Greiser, and Jaden, who got very tall somehow. I'm not sure when that happened. You two are going to come forward. You're going to open up the ark. I'm going to walk around with the Torah. We're going to have you all rise. We're back in the prayer book, back in the smaller of the two red books on page 222.
Etz Chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomcheha me'ushar. Etz Chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomcheha me'ushar. Deracheha darchei Noam v'chon netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Kadesh Yameinu kekedem.
All right, you may be seated momentarily. We continue page 222 again, Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgada v'yitkada shemei Rabbah B'yama divrach cherutei v'yamlich malechutei B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayerecho Beit Yisrael Ba'agala u'v'yizman kariv v'yimeru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ula'amei alamaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudsha berichu la'ela minko virchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'yimeru Amen.
We rise together, please. Page 223, you're going to find the Amidah. Noah's going to lead us in the beginning of the Amidah, but we want you all join along with us, those of you who know this prayer. So again, page 223.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rahel Elohei Leah El Hagadol Hagibor v'hanara, El Elyon, Gomel hasadim tovim, Vekoneh hakol, Vezoher hastek, Avo, Umevigo alivne nehem, Lema Uzer ufoket umashiach umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ketzorah. Shiv haruach umarid hagashem, mehokel hayim behesed, mehayem etim berachamim rachim, somech noflim b'pehom, nir asurim, umeyeh emunato, she'eofa. Emanata leha hayot meti, Baruch atah Adonai, mehayeh hameti.
Nikadesh Shimcha Ba'olam Kashem Shemakdishim Oto B'Shmei Marom Kakatuva Yad Nevi'echa V'kara Zeh El Zeh V'Yamar
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech Haaretz Kevodo.
Kadosh 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 Adonai Tzvaot Melech Haaretz Kevodo L'umatam Baruch Yomeru
Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo.
Baruch Kavod Adonai Mimkomo V'divrei Kodshecha Katuv Lemor
Yimloch Adonai L'olam, Elohai Sion, L'dor Vador, Hallelujah.
Yimloch Adonai Le'olam Elohai Sion L'dor Vador Hallelujah L'dor Vador Nagid God Lecha U'Lanetzach Netzachim Kedushatcha Nakdish V'shivchacha Eloheinu Mipinu Lo Yamush Le'olam Va'ed Ki El Melech Gadol V'Kadosh Ata Baruch Ata Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
The Amidah continues silently, Hebrew or English, or if you prefer, the private meditations of your heart. We turn now to our personal prayers.
Oseh shalom bimramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
You can be seated for a moment as we continue page 230, Kaddish Shalem.
Yitgadol v'yikra shemei rabba
Amen.
v'yamad yivrach urutei v'yamlech malchutei v'gayachon u'v'yamachon u'v'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'yizman kari v'immeru Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'alam la'me'amaya yit. Yitbarach v'yishrach v'yitpar v'yitjaman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha. Richu la'ela mikol v'gata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alema v'immeru.
Amen.
Titkabal saloton v'atahon decho Yisrael kodama v'hon dev'yishmaya v'immeru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'immeru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
We rise together, page 231 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latet gedula le'yotzer breshit shelo asanu ki goyei aratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam va'anachnu koreim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notes shamayim ve'yoser haaretz umoshav yikaro b'shamayim ima'ah ushkinatuzo b'gov hemeromim hu Eloheinu enod emet malkeinu efizulato kakatu v'torato v'yadata hayom v'hashavota elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim ima'ah ve'al ha'aretz mitachat ein od al kendekavalecha Kakatu b'tortecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. On page 232, our services end with, by tradition, with a mourner's Kaddish. And I invite anybody who has need or desire to recite the words of the Kaddish. You can stand if you're reciting these words on 232. If not, remember all those who have gone before us, family members who are not here as well. Those reciting Kaddish on 232, join together with me. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabba, amen. Be'omad ivrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon u'b'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kari v'meru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam ulmei olmaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh, Yithadar, Yitalev, Yithalal, Shemei Dekudesha, Brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, Damiran v'alma v'meru, Amen, Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru, Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'meru, Amen. You may be seated. So, did you make it through today okay? Who was more nervous, you or Noah? It's pretty close. I think it was, right? But what a beautiful, beautiful day. And Michael, to be able to share, right, with everybody, the extended family. These are the moments that we hold on to, aren't they? We bring together those who have passed away. We bring together the present. We think about the future. We think about the next bat mitzvah. Olivia, you're studying already, right? Yes. Okay, we talked about that already. But this is what we call a Shechianu moment. A moment, Shechianu is a blessing that sanctifies time. It's a reminder that every moment has that potential. This certainly is one of them. I'm going to call up the family, Mindy, Michael, Olivia, Ari, and Noah, you're going to join them over there as well in front of that podium. And everybody else, I'm going to ask you to rise. You can put your books down. If you know this prayer, you're going to join along with us. It's a beautiful melody, and we'll join together in this Shechianu.
Noah, I hope you'll sing with us too, because it's your Shechianu moment more than anybody else here. We're so proud of you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Sing it out, everyone. Ready?
It keeps going. Keep it going. We're not done yet. Here it keeps going.
Amen.
Should we do that again? Hazan Mimi? Let's do that amen one more time. Here we go. Mazal Tov, Noah!
Semen tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, semen tov, mazel tovu, semen tovu, mazel tovu, semen tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'kayam, David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'kayam. Last time, Siman Tov. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov.